Okay, so before I give a little bit about me, I just wanted to uh, mention like what we are going to trying to cover today. So AI seems to be everywhere right now, and as a Tableau user and analyst, we it has become part of my our day to day job. So the real question is where AI really fits into a real analytics project, and this is what we are going to talk about today. We are going to walk through a typical analytics workflow, starting from understanding the business problem to dashboard building, where AI actually make our work easier and faster. We are also going to talk about the other side of the story, where AI isn't always right, and we are also going to see some how to apply some safety measures to validate the AI generated output from a technical and business perspective. Okay, just a second. Yep. So a little bit about me. And as Vani has already mentioned that, but I'm just gonna keep it really short. So I work for a business intelligence. I work as a business intelligence specialist for a medical school in Southern Illinois called SIU School of Medicine. I've been working in data analytics field for close to 6 years, and have fallen in love with Tableau for, I think it was 4 years ago. I remember the first time I saw the Tableau public website, and I saw all these amazing visualizations, and I was so fascinated that again, how could you do so many cool things in Tableau? It was just like equivalent to a kid in Disneyland or a candy shop. I was hooked and very excited. So fun fact, this is actually my first tuck talk. I'm really excited, but I'm a little nervous, so please bear with me. And outside of work, you will usually find me dancing, reading books, or creating Tableau visualizations. I know I give off a little bit of nerd vibes, but trust me, I am not a nerd. That's what I want to believe. So before we dive it into AI, so let's talk about a little bit of like overview of analytics workflow. So most of the analytics project follow a very similar process. So where they start with understanding a business problem. So what question are we trying to solve right now? Then comes your data preparation, where we collect, clean, and transform the data with something that we can work with. Then come explore and analyze, where we discover trends, patterns, and we answer business questions, try to identify relevant insights. And in the final part, building the dashboard, this is the part where we communicate the relevant insight and recommendation in a visual story to our stakeholders so that they can make an informed decision, an informed data driven decisions actually. So before we start, where does AI actually fit? There was a time when stakeholders used to rely on manually created reports for making business decision. So dashboard did not actually replace those reports, but it actually replaced the manual work that went into preparing the data, creating KPIs, and creating that report every single month. AI is kind of driving a similar shift. It is not replacing the analyst, but it is accelerating our day-to-day job so that we can focus on more important things like solving business problem or telling the right story with our data. So phase one, understanding the business problem. Before we dig into the data, before we open Tableau, the first most important thing, understanding the business problem. What specific question that we trying to answer right now? And let's see where AI can help us. Understanding unfamiliar domain. Let's say that you've been assigned to a project, or maybe healthcare and or finance. People are using jargon words around you, and you actually don't understand what does it mean. You can ask AI to help you understand that in plain English. So let's say that this is the prompt that I want to use. I just got assigned to a project, and this project revolves mostly around days inventory outstanding. Again, I don't even know what it means. But yeah, I can ask AI like, what does it mean? Why it matters to a business? What a healthy benchmark look like? You can ask any question, and in a plain, and it will explain in a plain English. So this will give you at least enough context to have an informed conversation. Refining business question. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who have received a vague request or email from stakeholder or client saying that, hey, I need this, or how is our company performing? Like, let's say that my stakeholder said that we need to understand if our campaigns are working. Okay, you need to understand your campaigns are working, but in what sense? Do you mean that if your ad campaigns are reaching enough audience? Do you mean that if you are getting sufficient clicks, or are you able to achieve the targeted conversion rate? Or like, do you want to see that if enough customers are ending on the landing page? Like, what is the metric of the success for your ad campaigns? So how do you identify, like, again, how do you understand that if our campaigns are working? So this is a kind of vague, it's a great starting point, but it is a vague question. Like, you do not have enough information to begin analysis. So you can ask AI to give you a list of clarifying questions that you need to ask your stakeholders before you even touch the data. And then the final part, creating an initial requirement. So I'm not asking AI to create the set of requirements. That is still the work that you need to do, that requires your conversation with your stakeholders. But let's say that you're going to attend a kickoff meeting about employee attrition. You don't know what exactly goes into that, what KPIs or what metrics or what simple basic question that you need to ask to understand the business problem. So you can ask AI that, hey, my stakeholder wants a dashboard on employee attrition. We haven't had the kickoff meeting and we're going to have it. So let give me a list of requirements or questions that I can ask or I can cover with my stakeholders. So understand that this is the theme of the entire thing. So you're you're not asking AI to replace everything. You are asking AI to help you prepare, think. You still need to talk to your stakeholder. You can have to ask follow-up questions, or do the trade-off to understand the business problem. AI just gonna help you. Let's take a real life example using AI to refine business questions. So what if my stakeholder comes and asks that, okay, hospital X is our biggest partner, and we do lab orders, we carry out a lot of lab orders at their hospital. So we want a dashboard that tells the story that we are just not a cost center for them, but we also generate revenue. So this is a profitable partnership. A broader question. So I can ask AI to help me build a structured analytical question and KPIs to support it. So see that AI doesn't directly jump into questions or KPI or structure. It gives you a potential business objective that you can quantify later. Then it breaks down the broader question into simple analytical questions. And AI goes all in. Let me show you an example. Okay, I've used the same prompt and asked AI that helped me build a structured analytical question and a KPI to support it. So again, we have the business objective, we have analytical questions, and it gave me almost 8 analytical questions and let's say close to 40 KPIs. And it goes all in, like it gave me executive summary and everything. That brings me to the next part, where AI falls short. So AI lacks business context. And the reason why I'm saying this, so let's look at these KPIs. Top ordering providers, KPIs like revenue per order, revenue per test, revenue per specimen. If you see the pattern, like it is deviating from the main question that we are trying to answer. AI doesn't know your organization rules. AI doesn't know your business. AI doesn't know what your stakeholder wants. What it predicts is a reasonable answer. So you need to check whether those KPIs, those questions is aligned with your business problem. So again, AI can invent KPIs that we call hallucination. So what this KPI is like revenue per patient, test per patient, repeat patient rate, specimen processed, stat versus routine volume. This looks like very genuine KPIs, but it might be actually like factually incorrect. So AI can invent the KPIs, and again, when you have new KPIs, let's say that I have used few KPIs that was created by my stakeholders for the business purpose, like this is what they wanted to see. But this is a general thing that I'm asking AI, like, hey, this is the problem statement, and what is the general KPI that I can use? So see that it has invented the KPIs, like it makes assumption like without even telling you or confirming with you, and it goes on creating the KPIs that looks very much real but might not be actually correct. So now we have come to the most time consuming part of data analytics process. So again, doesn't matter what analysis you do on your data, your insights, your findings is as good as the data behind it. So data preparation is one of the most crucial stage because you need to have a good data to create a good insight. So let's see where AI can help us. Understand what you're working with. This is very recently I was assigned a project and where I have to work with a data set that regarding invoices, purchase order, line orders, line amount, receivable payables. I'm not from accounting background and I do not understand these terms. I can ask AI like, hey, these are the like columns or these are the terms that we're using. This looks like my data set. What does my data represent as a whole? What does each column likely means, and what can be the granularity of the data? And AI can help you with that. Generating data cleaning logic. I just wish we had AI like 6 or 5 or 6 years back, because this is the most tedious and yet important part. I remember working on a analytics project, and the turnaround time was, let's say, 1 week. And I spent almost 2 days cleaning the data, like understanding your data problem. It requires some time. But when you spend a lot of time like cleaning the data, when like you can reduce this tedious work, so you spend a less time what is important, that is your data analysis and conveying your insights to your clients. So yes, let's say that I have a order date column. It has inconsistent formatting. Some rows have a specific formatting, some rows have a different kind of set of formatting. I can ask AI to create a calculated field that standardize all this format into a single format. You might say that this is a very simple thing, like not very important stuff, but I have spent almost a day writing clean data cleaning logic for each column, like 6 5 6 years back on the same project. I spent a day. So I will write, like I'll search Google, on the internet. I will find like the data cleaning logic. I'll apply it to each column, and that was manual tedious work. And I remember I wrote a set of like whatever date cleaning code that I could find on internet. I used every single bit of it, everything, only to find that none of it worked. So yeah, I wish like we had AI back in that time. Otherwise, it would have cut down my data cleaning time to almost a half day. Spot data quality issues. So again, when I started out, I was not very much aware of like what the data quality issues that I can face. Every data has a different data quality issue, but you can have a general things, a list of general things that you can check out. Like again, looking at finding out if we have duplicate rows, if any of the column have missing values, and if they have missing values, how do we treat those missing values? See that if the column is consistent, like if there is like it should be consistent throughout the data. So these are the general checks that we need to do. But again, if you're when you're starting out your data analytics journey, you might not know this. And each data set will have a different set of requirement or different kind of data quality issue. So you can ask AI to help you out with this, can give you a starting point. So how can you use AI to clean your data? So let's say that we have this hospital data, we have record ID, and we have this very unstructured provider details, which has like lot of information like provider name, your specialty, the building, the room, license number, etc. I want to turn it into something like this, a structured data set where we have record ID and the provider details has broken down into six different columns. So this is the AI prompt that I used. Again, you do not have to read through the entire thing. I'm just gonna walk you through it. So let's say that I have a sample data from hospital X with multiple values crammed in a single column, inconsistent order across the rows. This is my column, record ID and provider details, and this is what my sample data looks like. I need to split this provider details into separate fields like name, specialty, building, license number, and extension in Tableau. So again, I asked AI to give me like how to use say Tableau calculated field using this formula. If you don't even know the formula, that's fine. You can simply ask AI to give you the code to extract each field. And this is what AI gave me. It provided me code to extract each and every column that I've asked for. Provider name, specialty, building. It also gives you the explanation later on, like why it used a specific, this is the expected output, why it used this function rather than this. What's the logic behind this? So you need to understand that why AI is doing what it's doing. So this is a little off topic, but use AI to jumpstart your data. Let's say that for a specific project, I have to refer to a lot of medical research papers. And I found a table or a data that I really like to use in my dashboard. So I can ask AI, like, hey, I have this research paper. I want this table on this page, and I want to extract this table one into a clean Excel ready format. So instead of you going and what I would have done without AI is like I would have gone to Excel. I have to manually input this data. AI can do that for you. And this is a simple and you can actually extract a lot more complicated data from public research papers like this. So where AI falls short, again, AI can help you prepare your data faster, but you need to validate the transformation that AI has suggested. Let's say that again, I'm talking about hospital data, hospital X data. So let's say that I have multiple rows for a single patient who has seen the same provider at the same location. You might see that AI might say that, okay, like the suggested transformation, like look at the duplicate rows. And one of the scenarios that you can keep that rows or you may completely remove it. But do you actually have to remove it? For my business, I cannot remove like even though duplicate rows, but what if that duplicate rows represent multiple patient visit to the same provider at the same location? So what if I remove those duplicate rows? I'm removing legitimate data. So again, you need to look at the transformation and see that if it makes sense in your business context. Second, and the most important thing, I cannot stress on this enough, be careful of what you paste in public AI tools. Companies, they are very serious and very confidential about their data. So if you have an inbuilt AI platform in your company or in-house, it's fine. But be very careful what you put in the public AI tools. So again, please save your job. Do not do that mistake. So what is the better option? What I do is like if I need to understand something about my data set or it's like they have a lot of jargon words, I create a dummy data set. I keep the column names and I chug in like I create some 2, 3 sample rows and just put random data. And then I use that artificial data or dummy data to ask question about my data set, like, hey, I have this order date, like how do I transform it, or how do I extract year, month from this order date. The other thing that you can do, this just how I just showed right now, you can generate fake data. I'm sorry, bye. Okay, so this is the prompt I used. Again, I have the sales data with the columns order ID, order date, product category, region, sales amount. I've also given conditions like the categories should be electronics, clothing, and home goods, and make sales amount range between 25 to $1,500. So give me 20 realistic data, synthetic data, and AI just did it for me. And then I can use this artificial data to ask question about, hey, like how do I classify the sales amount, and I can ask anything about the data set, like create calculated columns. So again, what you have the same data structure, the same format, but entirely artificial, and it won't cause you trouble. Now we have come to the most exciting part of our data analytics process. So you have data ready, you have cleaned it, the tough part is done. Not exactly, but you can take a deep breath, and now we explore the data. So where AI can help us, ask AI to suggest the right chart. This is one of the field that I have struggled a lot. Like I will have the data set, will have a vision in my mind that this is what I want my audience to know, but I won't be able to find a right chart for that, like not immediately. So I will shift through Pinterest, like multiple Tableau dashboards to just find the right chart. I can simply ask AI that to suggest me, like give me a starting point. At least from there, I can see that, okay, maybe this kind of chart might work for my data set. It might not work. So it will always give you a starting point. So I would say that, hey, I want to show my lab order revenue like month over month for the past year. What is the best chart type that can answer this question and why? Always answer why. Say, always ask why. Ask AI to generate hypothesis. So this is something that a person like my one of my colleagues like back in 2022 taught me. So you have a current state and you have a desired state, and there is a gap between both. So to overcome that gap, first you need to have actionable data, the data you can readily work with, and then you need to have a set of hypotheses. Like instead of diving just straight into it mindlessly, let's have like the questions that you want to answer using that data, like have a set of hypotheses. Have the revenue has really increased from the past year, and if it does, like what is the percentage? Is a department lagging, or is there a drop in the revenue? And if there is a drop in revenue, is this department responsible for that? So yes, this hypothesis can give you a kickstart. Like again, instead of mindlessly diving into the data, you can have a set of structured hypothesis. So again, I can ask AI like, "Hey, I work for this company. My these are my data structure, like order date, department, and our goal is to understand what is driving revenue growth or decline at our biggest hospital partner. Give me a set of hypothesis, but only hypothesis, no conclusion yet." This is one of the most use cases for me in terms of AI. So I saw a chart that you love. You can ask AI to help you build it. I remember that whenever I used to work on a Tableau project and I will see a graph and I was like, yes, this is perfect. This is what I want to use in my Tableau dashboard. First, what I will do, like I will download a Tableau workbook, or maybe I'll go on YouTube and try to find a tutorial, or on Google search, like if I can find any website that explain how to build this chart. But again, it takes time. It takes a lot of time. If it's a very complicated chart, then it will take such a time to understand that calculation. Sometimes I don't even understand it. So I remember that there was a time that I saw this beautiful Tableau chart, and I downloaded the workbook. I went through multiple websites to understand that. It took me almost, I'm not even joking, it took me almost 2 to 3 days just to understand that calculation. And that chart will require your data to be in a specific format, and my data is in a specific format. So then I also have to figure out how to bring my data into that specific format so that I can build that chart. Again, a long process, but AI can actually help you. So let's say that I found this um, chart, and I want to ask AI, like, hey, I saw a dual axis chart showing revenue as a line and order volume as bar, and I want to build this in Tableau. My columns are this. Walk me through it and tell me step by step how to set this up. Again, instead of asking the entire thing, like, understand why it's suggesting a specific logic, how to build this. This is another use case for me, and this I use it like almost every day. Debug your logic with AI. Let's say that, again, I've taken a simple example. Let's say that I want to classify my sales data into high, medium, unknown, and low. So there can be two scenarios. If your code is broken, you know that, again, it's not giving me any output, blank. But if your code is working, but it is not producing the expected result, that is little dangerous for me, when especially when I'm dealing with numbers. So I can ask AI, like, hey, this is the logic that I built. The calculated field is not producing the expected result. So let's say that I want my null values to be classified as unknown, but it is being classified under low. Why is it happening? So AI will debug the logic, like evaluate the logic step by step. It will take each section of it, try to evaluate it. It will also give you a better prompt and tell you, like, okay, this is where it went wrong and this is what you can improve. You can take that. And again, in my day to day, it doesn't end over there. This is a simple example. When I'm dealing with something very complicated, so it is a to and fro iterative process. I'll take that code, I will try to test it, it doesn't work, then I'll come back, then I'll ask. So think of AI as a helping partner. Instead of AI doing the entire thing for you, just ask for the help, like just like you ask for help from a friend. So where AI falls short, again, I have covered this in the last two phases, but I cannot stress this enough. AI doesn't speak your business language. Let me give you an example. Fiscal year. Fiscal year is different for different companies. For a few companies, it starts from Jan. For few companies, it starts from March. For my company, it starts from July. So it's July to June. So if I'm trying to build a logic, or let's say that I want to see the revenue for the last fiscal year, I asked AI this. AI by default assume that it's Jan to December until unless I specify that. So again, AI doesn't know what this word means. So every time I have to write any logic that involves fiscal year, I have to specify explicitly that my fiscal year starts from July to June. So again, AI doesn't know what these words mean inside your organization. AI is unidirectional. So let's say that you ask for hypothesis. AI doesn't just stop there. It gives you hypothesis, it gives you explanation, it gives you statistical test and even conclusion. So the entire path is laid out for you. It is very authoritative because, again, you haven't decided what hypothesis that you want to test, and seeing the statistical test and conclusion, everything, like the end goal, it might be very confusing. So again, you need, as an analyst, you need to apply your critical thinking to understand that if that hypothesis is aligned to your business question, whether this hypothesis is worth investigating and testing, because you cannot spend time investigating each and every hypothesis suggested by AI. And before that, again, I want to show an example. Let's say, so from the earlier example, when I asked AI to help me build the structure analytical question and KPI to support that, it did not stop at the business objective or analytical questions. It went on, it gave me dashboard section, executive summary. That's the final part that I need to do once I'm done with the analysis, and then I'm building that. But seeing this, at a very initial stage will actually make your decision very biased. You have executive summary, you have executive story. You don't need that at the starting point. So that's what I'm trying to say, that AI is unidirectional. If you ask something, it will just move and goes in one direction and gives you the complete outcome. So we have come to the final part of our analytics process. You have prepared the data, you have cleaned it, you have insights ready, and now it's time to convey those relevant insights and recommendation into a visual story, that in a way that is clear, intuitive, and actionable for your audience. So again, you can use AI in this process in multiple ways, but whatever I'm going to say, it is from my personal experience, and we are going to cover each one of this with an example afterwards. So layout and prioritization. Again, every time I'm done with my analysis and I have to build the dashboard, I will look at the Pinterest. I will spend hours just finding the perfect dashboard inspiration. Right now, like, again, if I'm trying to build a dashboard, let's say HR dashboard, I will have multiple tabs open just or like to see it, to find a specific HR dashboard that is very much aligned to what I'm trying to build. So yeah, I can ask AI to describe my or I will describe my audience and goal, and I can ask AI to at least suggest me a layout, give you a starting point. This is one of the important cases, like titles and labels. Sometimes when you build a dashboard, you don't know who's the end user is gonna be. Let's say that a dashboard is suggested by a client and stakeholder, but what if like the dashboard that we deliver, it is used throughout the organization, and what if like the people who are going to consume that dashboard are not the data person? So I can ask AI to write me clear jargon free chart titles so that my audience, be it any type, a data person or non data person, they should be able to understand it. Calculated field. So it is a little different from our phase 2 and phase 3. So let's say that I'm looking for looking at the multiple Tableau dashboard, and I saw this functionality. So I really want this to be in my dashboard. So how do I build this functionality? So I can ask AI to help me build that. This is something that I use for my personal Tableau projects, review and improve. I ask AI to review my dashboard to identify strength, weakness, and opportunity to improve. So let's look at some example. Ask AI to recommend a dashboard layout. Let's say that, again, let's take the same example from earlier. I'm building a executive summary dashboard for hospital leadership, and the goal is to show that our lab partnership really drives revenue, and not just we are not just a cost center for them. So I have metrics and visual list, and just recommend a layout and give me the logical flow for someone with just 2 minutes to spare. So yes, so this is the prompt I used, and see what AI did. It recommended me a layout like execute summary. This is the title's gonna be. Here's the date filter and last refresh, and it has arranged the KPIs and the visualization for me. So you just say that above the fold, like for the first 30 seconds, what KPIs should I use, and then it actually explained me like visual hierarchy, the step one, the step two, the step three. So how a new audience that who's going to looking at your dashboard sees your dashboard, like it starts from here till here, like what the visual hierarchy looks like for the your layout. So again, it gives you a starting point. I don't know why does it freeze. So use AI as a design reviewer. So this is an example from my personal Tableau project, and again, please forgive me for the prompt because I was extremely lazy. So this is a section in my dashboard, and I'm asking AI to review this and give me points. Like again, AI will give you a score. It will tell you what really works for you, works for this section, and it will also point out like things that you need to change or you can improve. Again, these are all suggestion. You can just look at it. If it's aligned with your goal, you can apply it. Otherwise, just leave it. Using AI throughout the dashboard development, right for your audience. Again, this is one of the most use cases in my day-to-day job. I have this visualization and I'm asking AI that, again, I have this dual chart where I'm showing monthly revenue in one axis and the order volume on the other axis. For Hospital X, the goal is to show whether more orders actually translate to more revenue. So write a plain English tool tip, or I can ask a title chart for a hospital executive who is not a data person. So this, when we are conveying the charts, when you are conveying your dashboard, again, you have to keep all this thing. Like, let's say that I'm creating, sometimes I have to create an info page for my dashboard because I don't know who's gonna use my dashboard. So again, I want them to understand what exactly is happening because I won't be there to explain it to each every one of them. So it should be visually telling the story, and all, there should not be any jargon words. So again, your dashboard will be consumed by a data person, a non-data person, but you need to keep it simple. So you can ask AI to write for your audience. Generate calculated fields. Again, this is the functionality that I talked about. Like in my organization, most of the team, they are very interested to see the last 12 months data, be it revenue, sales, or anything. They want to see the last 12 months. So I want to have a toggle option in my dashboard. Like, let's say that if they want to see the last 12 months, they can click on the button and it will show them the dashboard using the last 12 months data. And let's say that if they want to have manually select the data, say date, so they can toggle between last 12 months and toggle between two views, and then they can get a custom date range where they can manually select the date. So I can ask AI like, hey, I want to build this functionality in Tableau. Tableau tells me that you can build this using parameter action and dynamic zone visibility. I might not know this, and I might not know that, okay, I can achieve this functionality using this dynamic zone visibility. So AI can actually help you go through like step by step how to build this, understand you, make you understand or help you understand the calculated fields that it's giving you. So where AI falls short, what AI can and what you must do. AI will suggest you layouts, but again, it does. I have said this earlier. Like AI doesn't know your stakeholders. AI doesn't know understand your business properly. AI doesn't know what your stakeholder wants. So take that layout suggestion just as mere suggestion, and then you design it for your usability, for the usability of the audience, be it client, be it stakeholder, be it anybody. You have to design for the usability. Recommend chart types. Again, it's recommendation, but you need to see that whatever chart types the AI is recommended, does it actually answer your business question? Generate calculation, but always validate those calculation. Review the dashboard, and again, this part is mostly when you are building something like not for the business, but you are doing something for like a personal Tableau project. Review your dashboard, but again, all, it's as an analyst, it's always your job to make the final design choices because you know your stakeholders, you know the business statement more than AI. So again, you have to make the final decisions. So yeah, that's all. Thank you for bearing with me.
Thank you, Nita. That was very helpful. I think a couple of questions that were being asked, you already covered them in your slides, so that's good. I just have one quick question. I think you mentioned some of the limitations of AI a couple of times, and I believe although that's true, you cannot really trust AI with your end-to-end process. You should take help from AI, maybe not make it do the entire thing. But if you have proper guardrails in place, if you I've noticed that assumptions are made mostly when you give it like a generic question.
Yeah,
But the more you understand how AI has responded and the more guardrails you keep adding for the next prompts, it sort of tries to stay on track. But the moment you miss those instructions,
yeah,
AI just assumes stuff and goes in some other direction. So, do
true.
you think guardrails maybe can help a lot with this?
Yeah, so when you're just starting out, so this is a very general thing, like if you're a newbie and you don't know what to do, so you tend to ask this general question. But
Correct.
as you work along with AI, then you understand that, okay, AI works in this way. If I give very specific AI prompts, it will help you. So again, as you have said, more rail guards, the more better AI performs. Yeah, this is a day-to-day conversation. It's just like I ask AI like a specific thing. AI still, like even if I'm specific, AI still assume things, and it makes changes even though I've never asked for. So it's just like if you have watched that movie Rush Hour, do you understand the words coming out of my mouth? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But yeah, you have to be cautious. Like if you are newbie, if you're an experienced person, you have to be cautious at every stage and be as much specific as possible.
Correct, correct. I think the more specific you are, the more it goes in different directions and maybe cost effective as well
Yeah.
when it comes to tokens. I think that's about it. I'm not sure if you have made any sort of conversational apps at your company, but someone is asking, Krishna is asking if maybe if you want to create apps which allows people to converse with their data, some sort of LLMs. So, what tools can you use? I'm not sure if you have done this in your organization. Not
No, I don't think I have. Yeah, I have not done this.
all right. Maybe I can try looking up something for you, Krishna, and send you after this session. All right. I think if we don't have any more questions, we can probably end this. I'll stop the recording.